What's up, gamers? It's your boy JO3 here with a story time in the form of a podcast, kind of. So it's going to be the long-awaited story time of that friend group. I'm just gonna kind of wing this. There'll be a couple pauses, probably a couple cuts where I catch my breath or get a drink, but other than that, I'm just gonna kind of wing this. So if you hear me breathe or there's ever a pause, that's why. But you gotta talk a lot here. I got up bullet points, basically. We're gonna be jumping around time a lot, but just know this is between, like, let's say, maybe 9 weeks into 7th grade, something like that, and through 8th grade and, like, the summer going into freshman year of high school. That's what I'm gonna cover in this episode, because there's enough for two, and in this episode will basically be the start and all through middle school, and, like, the summer between. Because I can kind of include that. And as like a bridging point. And the second episode is going to be freshman year and everything since then. Because there's enough to cover there for its own separate, like, podcast style video. It is going to take place over where podcast episodes would be. And you could kind of treat them as a podcast episode. I may even title it as such, or at least put it in the same playlist, because they're essentially podcast episodes. Just a story, basically. So, different type of podcast episode. If I decide, classify it as that, which I think I will. I think I will end up doing that. Like I said, if there's any pauses or clicks, it's because I'm cutting off the thing. I'm not going to really edit this that much. I'm just going to slap some gameplay over it or something. Let's see. Where do I want to start? I guess I should start with how the group got together. That's a good thing. I just kind of have things written down as I remember to talk about them. So we're going to go with that. That's a good start. That's a good start. Yeah, for sure. So basically, how it started. So, context here. Me, 3 friends. We sat at the 7th grade. In 7th grade, we sat at our lunch table. It was me. Let's see who's important for this story. Me, Angry Ford, and Fast Hunter. You may know them. Fast Hunter used to be part of the Appalachian Avengers channel. Angry Ford, back in the day, was part of Go's Guild, along with Fast Hunter. So, I've been friends with them for a long while. I don't really speak to either now. But I wouldn't say, at least, I haven't talked to Ford in 3 years, since the whole friend group kind of fell apart. I've talked with Fast Hunter. I talked to them relatively frequently for, until, like, this previous summer. Yeah, around that time. Just before we got back in school. So, I've talked with them a couple times. We have an odd conversation here and there. Either through, like, Discord DMs or other DMs, but, like, we're not, like, I don't know if I can call us friends or not, still. Or at least acquaintances. I would like to think we're still friends, because we had that kind of petty beef, I will admit. It just had pissed me off at the time. Probably should have waited a bit before making that video. Instead, I kind of rushed it out. That's my bad. I'm willing to admit I'm not the only one in the wrong. The other friend group that is also involved in this was in the wrong as well. They were more in the wrong, but I was probably a bit too quick to pump out a video about that. Should have really, came to my senses a bit. I still think the video would have went out, because I'd have to explain why Fast Hunter isn't even associated with the channel at that point. I mean, he was already kind of in the background of the channel, and kind of not technically a part of AA at that point, but just in case he'd ever appeared, and we had appeared relatively recently before then, and that was a way to explain why he was just kind of gone. So, yeah. Anyways, we're gonna talk about that, back to the group getting together. Basically, one day, 6th graders were cunts and took our table, so we just sat on a table behind us. Lo and behold, there was like 4 other kids there that we ended up talking to and becoming pretty chill with. So that was the group of this. That was how this group got together. The YEEES, the most outdated thing ever. I don't know if I can find the meme. If I'll find it, I might edit it in at the beginning or end, just so you guys have seen it, or like a link if there's a video. I'm sure there is on YouTube at least. If there is, it'll be in the description. Let's see. Things went kind of well. We just kind of chat. It was a lunch table thing. Then we used Google Hangouts instead of Discord. Granted, this was like 2015, so I don't even know if Discord existed, bro. I didn't start using Discord till like high school, so I could not tell you. I could not tell you. Maybe in its infancy or first year or two. I don't know. We used Google Hangouts, which worked well enough because we just kind of used it as a chat. We didn't really use it for like the same things I would use a Discord for now. By the way, join my Discord if you want to, be a part of streams or potentially videos or anything in the future. But no shilling yet. We're only 5 minutes in. Come on now, me. Basically, things went well. We used Google Hands. We hung out. We started hanging out, playing games. Was this the year? No. Going into freshman year was World War II, so we'll save that for the second episode. I think Black Ops 3 was 7th grade. I think it was no. Yeah, no. Shoot. No, it would have been it would have been Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare, I think, was 7th grade. I think Black Ops 3 was 8th grade. I might be getting that mixed up. I could be wrong. I didn't really play either because my Black Ops 3 got stolen 2 months after it released, and I didn't get Infinite Warfare. So, I think it was Black Ops 3 that Infinite Warfare, actually. Yes, because they did Infinite Warfare, people complained, which I was one because I'd played it, I just didn't own it. So then they made World War II. I think that's right. I'm not going to bother to check because I'm lazy. It's not important. Yeah, so we mostly played Call of Duty. Played a couple other games too. Obviously Minecraft. I've been a Minecraft player almost my entire gaming time. Well, no, the first couple of years. But as soon as I got my 360, I think maybe my second one after the first one red ringed, ripped to my white 360 back in the day. I think it was my second one and got the Minecraft console edition, the 360 edition. Since then, 2012, that dropped, right? Now it's 2012. Played it for an entire summer straight on the same world. Oh Lord, that was a fun time. That really was. Good times. I wish I still had that world. It might still be on my 360, but I could probably go through the whole transfer process of porting it to the Xbox One, then porting it to Bedrock. Maybe, and then if I had a thumb drive, transferring it to PC, go through the entire porting process. I could do that, but I'm not going to bother right now. Let's see, bullet points. Oh, we can talk about, okay, so for the first time anyone joined after the formation of the YEEES, that friend group, which, by the way, we wanted to change the name multiple times, but the quote-unquote leader did not, so we never did. So that's fun. Basically, we're going to call them C and D, because I'm not going to dox their names. That's a dickhead move. C and D joined around the same time. I think it was, I can't remember if they joined end of 7th or beginning of 8th, but around that time, I think end of 7th. Yeah, I think near third term or fourth term, end of 7th-ish. They joined to the friend group. And we have a thing called the an Olympic type game. It's basically field day, but it's called the Olympics. And you sign up for events. There's 8 teams. The first 8 places the modern Olympics were held at, I believe, or something like that. I was Venezuela my 6th grade year, and we won, which was poggers. 7th grade, I was China, which sucks because we were communist red, but we were also red, and I like the color red. So there's that. So, we got second, I think, and then 8th grade I was Greece, and we got 4th or 5th because it's an 8th grade, 7th grade, and 6th grade homeroom, and the 6th and 7th graders by that point sucked, especially the 6th graders. 7th graders were just a few years from maturing. They're now the juniors at my high school, and they're alright. They're alright. They learned to mature by this point, but back then they weren't great. They actually, I can't remember if it was them or the 6th graders almost got the Olympics canceled. One of the either 7th or 8th grade. I think it was 8th grade. They almost got them canceled because of how bad they were. So that's fun. But yeah, that happened. Just give some context on those. So that happened at the end of the year. The last 2 days of school would be the Olympic Games, and at the end they tally who had the like top ribbons. There was 1 through 8th place ribbons for every event. You get them, you collect them, then you would give them, turn them in. I think no, you'd keep them because they no. So the event people, the teacher or staff that did it would report it. Then you'd go to a certain area, because it was all around like the quote unquote campus. And across the street there's a pool, which is pretty poggers, but we didn't go in the pool. But over there was where you could buy snacks or drinks or anything. So usually you'd buy stuff like once a day. You'd bring like $10. Maybe you could probably get away with $5, because I think it was like $1 a drink and like $1 or $2 a slice of pizza or something. It was kind of expensive for a middle school event, but if you bring $10, you're good. You grab a drink like between events or whatever. I usually try to get all early events so I could just kind of hang out, but I always ended up getting at least one event in the afternoon because it was an all-day thing. We just vibe. We'd start off in our homeroom. They tell us go out and do things after about 10 minutes so they could take attendance and all that. So, that's cool. And then find, if they need a sub for something and can handle it at the beginning, they will. If not, then they'll handle it as they can. And yeah, it was a fun time. C and D were part of it for 7th grade. We all hung out under a tree across the street where the pool was and all that. They had teachers basically serving as makeshift crossing guards. Don't worry, they played it safe. They got permission. All that fun jazz. So we were chilling. It was a fun time. I somehow managed to be in the tug of war all 3 years, even though I'm not even that strong. I'm just fat. So it's hard to fool me. No. So that's one of the 2 big events. That and the dash. Was it 100 meter? No, not 100 meter. I don't remember what it is. Basically, 4 people would be on the tug of war. Or 6. I think it's 2 per grade. And then you'd have 6 per team. And then the run around the track, there would be 4, I believe. You start off with like a light thing. I don't remember. I was up in the stands usually, or sitting down in the middle of the field. Because tug of war, because they go on basically simultaneously. And you basically run to the next person, give them the thing, run to the next person, until they get to the last person that crosses the finish line. They do that for every single grade, I believe. Each one had one. And it'd be 4 teams at once, so it wasn't really hard to, get through those. That was like the last hour, and then they would do like a celebration thing. Then the 8th graders would leave first, 7th graders would leave through a separate door, and then 6th graders. 8th graders would get like cheered on by their teachers and stuff, and the staff of past that, they had in the past, and all that fun jazz. Now that I've got that out of the way, 12 minutes in, C&D joined. We got through all that. Obviously we were a lunch table, just kind of friend group at first, but we started to realize we had some classes together, especially 7th and 8th grade, a little bit. I had like, in 8th grade, I had like 4 classes with a guy we're going to call Chris. I'll get to him later. That's a part of the video in itself. Could be a video in itself. But yeah, it was just kind of a fun time. Now, some other stuff we did. For my birthday, after 6th grade, I stopped having birthday parties. Instead, what I would do, since they're kind of cheap to just get for a night around here, because no one actually comes here to tourist, there's hotels in town. So what we do is we get a hotel, like adjoining rooms, usually. My mom at the time later became a legal guardian for some of the more recent ones we did. We haven't done one since before COVID, obviously. The last one was in 2019. That was your boy, Harpo, Nomad, and somebody else that ended up leaving early. Our buddy, yeah, that's not his actual name. I can call him Matt. We'll call him Matt. He was there, but he had to leave early. Some things went down. That's another story. But basically, the first 2, I believe, were with the boys. The YEEES. Maybe I did 3. No, because we had one freshman year too. But we're going to cover the first 2. The first one went off fine. The original plan was I only invited the original members, not C&D, but they happened to find out, so I had to invite them. Because I wasn't really ever close friends with either of them. I actually hated both of them. But there was a lot of infighting in that group. I'm saving that for more towards the end. So that happened. There was a fight at least once at each one. But it was relatively okay. Besides that, we would hang out, play games and shit, and then everyone would slowly leave as the early hours came by. No one ever slept. If you slept, you got a dick on your face, or at least made fun of. I think the first time I slept a bit, I was the last to sleep. I think everyone slept for like an hour because we stayed up to like 7 a.m. And then the second time, I don't think any of us slept. No, I didn't sleep at least. I think like everyone went to sleep except two people, and I was one of the two that didn't. It was one of the two. I either slept at the second one or the first one. I can't remember. The other one I did not sleep till I got home. Jacked up my sleep schedule for a week, but that's fine. So yeah, that happened. And then let's get to the fights now. There was fights, a lot, either verbally, sometimes physically, but rarely physically in any shape or form. Usually I would stay for the hotel. We'll get to that later, especially the last hotel sort of trip with them, with the boys, that friend group. We'll get to that in the second episode. So we fought a lot, obviously. C and D left the group before, by the end of 8th grade, they were on their way out. So by time freshman year started, they were gone. One big thing I haven't mentioned, 7th grade, two members of this friend group, members in quotes, had to leave. They actually both had the same first name, which is very funny, and their last name started with the same initial, which is very funny. I believe one thought they had to leave, but then they came back. They were able to come back the next year, I think. And then one actually left, but he'd be back freshman year. He had to move to a different school, I believe, or a different area. And then the other also had to, thought they had to move, but they didn't. Ended up, I think they may have went for a bit, but they came back by end of 8th grade. I feel like one more was supposed to move. Yes, one more did move as well. Fast Hunter, had to move. I think he moved 8th grade. Shoot, he was there freshman year. I think he moved away, then moved back again. After that, I think he moved back freshman year, moved back, something like that. He had to move a lot. Nothing again. That's not his fault. But I think he was the third one who left, because there was three. I think he was the third who thought they had to leave. So that was an upsetting moment at the end of 7th grade. Yeah, it was 7th. I remember specifically because we went out the door. 7th graders were supposed to go out. That's the only reason. And other people joined 8th grade. 8th grade, Great Bandito, you might know. I think he switched his name to Melatonin on YouTube or something. I don't know. I don't know if he's just rebranding or if he's just giving up on the YouTube thing. I mean, he was funny enough to make it on YouTube, in my opinion. But fair enough, I guess. Basically, he joined it. He came back. He had moved away way back in 4th grade or after 4th grade. We were friends since then. And then 8th grade, he moved back and went to our middle school that we were already at. So he joined after a few weeks of school. And that was he's Joe. I don't really have major issues with him. He was surprisingly, I will admit, we all had anger issues, but he had a lot. To be fair, the entire friend group really made fun of me and him when it came to like jokes and stuff. For the most part, it was me, him, or Chris, but usually me or him. If it wasn't him, it was me. Like if he wasn't there or something a day. Usually. Not always, but usually. So that happened. This friend group was kind of toxic by the end, but it was okay in middle school, and the first half of freshman year was okay. We always fought. There would always be fights, but we usually end up making up in the end. Usually it had to be me apologizing or like Great Bandito or somebody. There was a couple people who were very like stingy when it came to apologizing for being dickheads. Sometimes we'd be fighting and then just be fine the next day. It was just one of those arguments that were just kind of stupid and heat of the moment type things as well. Let's see. I have a couple other things down. I don't want to get to Chris yet. I'm sure there's a couple more things I can think of. Maybe not. I don't want to go into freshman year just yet. Saving that for the next episode, mostly. The summer between 8th and freshman year was okay. I remember Chris had a birthday party at our like park, our city's like major park, one of them, and that was after one of the people who had to move away came back, so he was able to attend that, which was cool. I don't remember if the other two had moved, or if Center had moved back in time or not. I can't remember. I have very little memory of that party. I just remember being able to sit down at one of like the memorial type things. There was benches there and just talk for like an hour. It was a lot of fun. We were just kind of off from the party, catching up. It was a nice moment. There was some nice moments with that friend group that I'll still remember and cherish in some shape or form. But now we get to Chris. Chris was an interesting person. That's the least I can say about Chris. Chris, he's the quote-unquote leader of the friend group. If you want to call it a leader. I don't know why we treat it so much like a like clan sort of thing. I mean, granted, we had the YEE tag on Call of Duty, YEEE, brother. But basically, how do I did a lot of things for Chris. Me and Chris, I thought were close, but apparently not. By the end of it, I had taken him to like a local, I guess festival's the word for it, like a sort of thing. I think 2 years. No, I took him 1 year, and he bought a knife, which was cool. Pretty sure I only took him 1 year. Yeah, because it's an all weekend thing. That's why I'm thinking I took him twice, because he stayed at my house that weekend, until Sunday. So we went out. I think all 3 days. I think we went out briefly Sunday, but the other 2 days we were out there all day. Something I wish we still did, but it's not really, COVID. But even before then, the last couple of years, I just hadn't attended. It's where I used to sell a lot of my used games and made a decent bit of money for like a middle schooler. So I mean, back then money came from doing things around the house or for people, Christmas, birthday, and that was basically where all my money came from, to buy games or whatever. So, So yeah, basically we did that. Chris stayed at my house a couple times. I remember my boy Bio, we're still pretty okay with it. We wouldn't talk recent, but like we talked up recently. He was on Ender Falls until recently. I don't know what's up with that. I know it's a storyline now, but that wasn't meant to be a storyline. He just straight up dipped. Bio and me are chill. Bio stayed at my house once. I stayed at his house once. I stayed at one of his houses once for a birthday. I think that was the 7th grade year. Like the 7th grade to 8th grade summer. In that summer. Then I think he moved in with his other parent or something like that. I don't know his situation. I don't remember. He moved at least. So that he stayed at my house. I took him on a vacation. My family basically takes a yearly vacation to Myrtle Beach. Myrtle Beach is a very cheap beach out of most. If you don't want to, live in a lavish room, if you want to live in an okay place, there's a specific hotel we went to. We had a good reputation with, so we got in relatively cheap, for like 5 days usually, or 6 days. We'd go down and stay. We did that for like 10 years. Never go to the same place 10 years in a row. It gets so boring. Because after like the first 5, you have done literally every single thing you can do there. I don't know why we did. It's cheap. So, and we took different people every year. It's just I ended up having to go every year because the person who planned it was who I lived with. So I was just kind of always there, chilling. I think there was 1 year we didn't go because I was really sick and I felt really, really bad and wished they went without me. And I just could have stayed with like a parent that stayed behind or something, because they did that year. But no, they canceled. I felt really, really bad for like until the next year, because we took everybody that was going to go that year the next year. But until then, I felt really, really bad. Since then, we finally diversified where the fuck we go. So besides that, we took him there. He got, I think, homesick. I think that's what affected him really. I think he had never really gone somewhere like that. He got homesick. So that kind of ruined some of the vacation for him. He's still able to do a couple things. And there was a couple nice moments from that trip. Besides that, though, uh, me and Chris, we had a lot of classes together. I tried to help him do things. We helped each other a lot. We talked a lot. I thought we were relatively close, but like I said, that turned out to, I guess, not be the case by the time this whole friend group fell apart. But, that's going to be saved for the second episode, because I'm going to cut this around here. So if you enjoyed, like, and subscribe. The next episode will be coming soon. I don't know, because I'm recording these and just kind of going to upload them when I need to, when I don't have podcast ready. So, there's that. And in the next one, we'll talk about freshman year and where the group fell apart at the end of freshman year going into the summer, and everything that's happened since revolving around anyone from that group. And FYI, it doesn't go well. It's not a good time for your boy. But we'll talk about that next time. So like, comment, subscribe. Catch you guys then.